Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here. We are going to be diving right into your reading directly today. Let's see what messages Spirit has for you. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here. Just like about as perfect as you can get. I hope it's beautiful where you are. So inspiring, a beautiful day. So good for the soul. All right, for Pisces, please, Spirit. For Pisces, what do we have? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You have Tower, which says liberation. You have the Glass Coffin, which is rebirth. You have the Magic Mirror, self-reflection. And you have Midnight Clock, time flies. Guys, there is time. The time is coming. The time is here. The time is at hand. There definitely, this is a time of transition. And, you know, you basically have the energy of the Death card and the energy of the Tower card here. But the Tower has come to set you free. You know, it's not come to disrupt your life or to wreck it or to make it all kind of fall apart. It has come to liberate you. You know, a lot of times as people, we get bogged down in the energy of our life and just living it. And we're just kind of going day by day. We're just kind of going through it. And we're not really contemplating making big changes or if we are, there's sort of like something that's way out in the future. This energy is like, okay, you were just going to kind of stay the course, even though the writing was kind of on the wall for some of these situations. And this is divine intervention. This is Spirit coming in and saying, nope, you just can't do that anymore. So, you know, these moments when this happens tend to be pretty uncomfortable. That's why I think a lot of times when we get the Tower in Terror, we're like, in the Tower in Tarot. I just said the Tower in Terror, which is a ride, Tower of Terror at Disney World. But anyway, we get, when the Tower hit, you know, when we see this kind of card, we sort of cringe and we sort of say, no, but it really is a gift. Can you imagine if you just continued on in the same way without this? You would, well, I just can't think that, I feel like it would end no matter what, because it's not meant for you. It's not meant to it's giving me this energy of like gratitude in all things. And, you know, there are things that are really easy to be grateful for. I have this Christmas crooners playlist and it plays my favorite things from The Sound of Music on it. And as I'm sitting here talking about gratitude, all I can hear is that song, my favorite things: whiskers on kittens, warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with string. You know, the favorite things. Like, it's easy to be grateful for things like that. It's way harder to be grateful for something that looks like transformation and change, you know? Sometimes we are craving change or we are craving transformation, but a lot of times as people, we kind of would rather, if we have transformation or change, we would hope that it would be gradual and gentle and kind and, you know, easy. You know, this type of transformation kind of happens fast. And it's usually kind of abrupt. And you know, with the lightning striking the tower in the normal tower card, there's kind of sometimes a breakthrough of thinking, a breakthrough of thought. It can even just come from a realization, like, I can't do this anymore, or this has to end. Like, it can sound like that, it can look like that, a tower moment. And maybe that is a little bit kinder, but it still leaves us with the equation of, okay, well, if not this, then what, right? And so with the glass coffin, you know, glass is just giving me is like completely transparent. There's a lot of clarity. And I think what we can no longer live with, or what we can no longer stand, or what we can no longer tolerate is like kind of abundantly clear. It's like almost like there's nowhere for it to hide. It's just become that, I don't know, the word obtuse is coming out here. So it's become that obvious or that big that we can't sort of cover up for it anymore, or make allowances, or go around it, or, you know, choose a different path to sort of avoid it. It's like we can't do it anymore. So this time has come for this thing to change. Okay. And there is something that this transformation is shaking loose within us as people, right? Like, it's not just, I'm trying to think of an example here. Like, okay, let's say you're in a relationship and it's not good. And this can be a work relationship, this could be an intimate relationship, this could be a friendship, this could be a landlord situation, this could be, you know, whatever kind of situation, right? And it's like you know, oh my God, I'm thinking of this Anais Nin quote, that you've kind of just tolerated it, you've kind of just gone around it, you've kind of like, you know, if it's, let's just say it's your landlord, right? You have made sure to pay your rent, but early, you know, before the first of the month. You've made sure that you're in compliance with all of the rules and regulations. You've made sure this, you've made sure that. You come home and you get a note on the door that your landlord was in your apartment due to pests in someone else's apartment. But the problem with this landlord is that they don't respect boundaries, and that they don't appreciate that this is your space, and blah, 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 blah. So this note on the door, and them having been in your apartment without your knowledge or permission, is it's like the lightning bolt. It's like, you know, even when I am doing all of these things to go around having any potential interaction with this person, I can't. And they show up, you know, it's you know, it's unavoidable. There's a boundary problem here. And I do feel for a lot of you, it is a boundary problem. It's like, I keep trying to put up this boundary and enforce this boundary, which is not easy. And this person keeps kind of like bowling it over, like just ignoring its presence even. Like, keep in mind, this is all on a spectrum. So it's, you know, just put it in the place in the spectrum. Like, I may be talking in extremes and it may not be that extreme, but just do it for yourself. Do you get what I mean? Intuitively, always intuitively listen to tarot. But this is happening on purpose, and it is reflecting something back to you. It's either reflecting back to you, like in this potential case of the landlord, it's reflecting back to you how strong you have become and how important boundaries have become to you, which can be a sign of actual health and well-being, right? Because, like, especially if you're someone that has struggled with boundaries in the past, the fact that now you're recognizing this and you're saying, okay, you know what, this isn't working for me, this isn't going to work for me, it is saying you have changed. That no longer resonates with you. Where, you know, before this time, this moment right here, right now, you may have just said, oh, you know, you may have been too tired to fight. You may have been, you know, too, I don't want to say weak because that sounds judgmental, but like you build strength. You know, it's like when you go to a gym and you work out your muscle, you know, you build strength even when it comes to things like boundaries. You know, it takes a lot of practice of saying no and standing by it and doing what you say you're going to do, and, you know, defining things and keeping and holding true to them, honoring them, insisting on having them be honored by other people. It's a muscle, right? And we're building it. And especially when we come from places, and to be honest with you, most of us come from places where boundaries are disrespected, right? So, or they're not taught, they're not enforced, they're not encouraged, right? Because people always want, kind of to have access, to like have free access to things and to people and to energy and to this and to that, right? And especially like as people, you know, when we're children, we are not, we depend on other people for our survival. And if those people aren't good at teaching boundaries and holding boundaries themselves, then it is extremely hard for us. It is a kind of a monumental thing for us to learn about boundaries and kind of how to enforce them, and even the importance of boundaries. So there's something here that is being reflected back to you through this experience, and all of this is happening right spanking now for a reason. Again, you guys, Saturn retrograded into your sign. I believe it's there now. Because I have had trouble posting readings, I am a day ahead. So today, as I'm recording this, I'm in the energy of the full moon. We will be tomorrow when you're watching it as well. But there's huge energy here with Gemini, full moon. It's a super moon. It's like a lot is happening. Okay. And so, and the Gemini, you know, is a sign that talks a lot about communication. So you could be having realizations, you could be having really crazy conversations. There could be things that are being revealed where you've been trying to avoid having a conversation and now it's no longer avoidable because it's so clear with the glass coffin and the full moon energy, right? And now is the time. It's like, I have to do it right now. You'll notice too, the midnight clock is 11:11. I mean, it's 11. There's no 11:11, but there's an 11 on the card. Wow. And that one energy is about alignment. And this is about alignment. What aligns with you and what doesn't align with you. And it feels very much like we're establishing, okay, if you cannot respect my boundaries, if you cannot honor a simple thing that I'm putting out there to protect my energy, if you do not have regard for me in that way, then that means I cannot have a relationship with you, you know, or it's got to really change, you know, whatever the case may be, right? You know, just using the example of the landlord, continuing on that path, you know, it's like, okay, you are supposed to give me, let's say, 24-hour notice, or like we had this discussion or we talked or whatever, and you agreed to it. And the landlord is like, oh yeah, but see, we found pests in an apartment in the building, so we had to check all the apartments for pests. And it's like that apartment may be, you know, 2 floors down and 16 apartments over, but, you know, they came in your apartment, and you know it's just because your landlord is nosy, and you know it's because the landlord can't appreciate boundaries or respect boundaries, and you know it had been a long time since the landlord had been in your apartment, and it was probably eating them alive that they hadn't seen it in so long, and so they couldn't help themselves, they had to do it. And it's like becoming really clear to you that no matter what you do, no matter how you try to live your life, there is no way for you to live peacefully in this environment, and so you have to change it. And this change and this moment and this realization and all of it is actually here to show you something really important about yourself and to set you free. And honestly, what I'm seeing is like the bird flying away. Like I'm getting a lot of energy of not needing the same things that I once needed, because you know, when people can't respect your boundary, they're toxic. They're toxic. They probably don't have good boundaries themselves. They probably don't understand boundaries. And you know, you have to be careful around energy like that, right? But at any rate, what I am just getting here is that there is a final moment that is approaching, or that is here. And I just feel like Spirit really wants you to keep in mind kind of what this says about you and where you are as a human. You know, like how I feel how much you have grown. But I also feel like it is here to set you free. And that if you keep this in mind through this tower moment, it will, it's like, it's giving me, it will only hurt for a moment. And it's not really hurt. It's showing me like ripping a Band-Aid off, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, you will only feel it for a moment, is I think that's the much better way of saying it. But, you know, it's like, then you will be you will be on the other side of it, and you will be feeling that freedom instead of the loss, the stress, the what am I gonna do, blah 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 blah. You're gonna feel free that you have seen the light, and that you are, you know, you are going to figure your way out of this. You are going to find your way to the other side of it, and you're simply shedding a skin of something that really no longer resonates with you. And you are, you know, as with snakes, when they shed their skin, you are growing, you are expanding, you are rising up in vibrational frequency and in enlightenment. It's a really beautiful energy here. You're setting yourself free. Okay, so oh man, I really love this. Oh, these are new cards, you guys. And I'm feeling very fairy tale-y today. Like, you can't tell, this is the fairy tale oracle, this is the fairy tale tarot, this is like something, I don't know what, but I like it. And this is like Art Nouveau. Like, this is just very like, I don't know what this energy is, but it's almost like, you know, if you have to break bad news, do it nicely or something like that. Or, yeah, not, oh my God, I feel like I keep saying something here like hurt, bad news. This isn't bad news, and this isn't going to hurt. You will feel it, right? As we feel all change, as we feel all transformation. But this is where tarot really is such a gift, because it gives us insight. You know, it allows us to kind of see it from a, you know, an observer perspective, and sort of, I don't want to say like prepare ourselves, but in a way that's kind of what it is. Some things, you know, minor arcana, things like that, we can really change. We can prevent, we can, you know, figure out how to kind of navigate, or circumnavigate. But like other things, it's like, no, it's inevitable, it's happening. And this is inevitable, it's happening. But it is happening truly for you. It is actually really beautiful. And it is here to set you free. Like, this liberation energy is real, real strong. So you have this elephant spirit, and it says learn from the past. And do you see how like gentle she is being with this elephant? When we learn from the past, when we say, what is this trying to teach me? Or what did I learn from this experience? Or how am I better off for having gone through this? We remove the obstacle of the experience. If we don't do that, if we say, oh, this happened to me and this was terrible and this was awful, and we just let it be part of our narrative, it becomes part of our obstacle in life. it becomes our part of our burden, right? And then now we're carrying this weight around with us. And so it's saying learn from the past. It's being gentle, and it's, you know, kind of looking at it from an observational standpoint. You know, she's like got this hand on the elephant's head, and she's, you know, she's you know, she's, I want to say reverent, okay, of, you know, the fact that we can't avoid going through things in life, or there's no way for us to live life without, you know, having experiences that are like this. You know what I mean? There's no way. You can't do it. I don't think so. Because life is its own thing, and it's just about sort of taking it on its terms and sort of riding the wave, and sort of realizing, okay, this is just delivering me to another part. You know, this isn't like the end. This isn't the like worst thing in the entire world. This is just a moment, and there is a greater purpose for it. It is teaching me something. It is showing me something, and this actually feels like it is showing you like sort of positive qualities about yourself. Like it's showing you the ways in which you have grown, the ways in which you have shed an old skin. You are not the same person that you once were. You have freed yourself even from your past identity, or your past way of doing things, or your past way of looking at things, or the past you that may have tolerated more, or may have, you know, almost gaslit themselves, is kind of an energy that it's giving me, if that makes sense for you. And then you have this like hawk spirit, and it says, let spirit be your guide. There are definitely, I feel like, signs and synchronicities here. If you see a hawk, I would say pay attention. Definitely like a week or two ago, my husband and I saw 2 hawks in 2 days, like very back to back, very in place. One was like at the end of our street. We were pulling out, and a hawk flew right in front of us at like the hood of the Jeep level, like 6 feet in front of our car. Like it was crazy. And then the other one, it was on a telephone pole on a street that we drive by all the time, and as we drove past it, it swooped down and like took off and started flying, and so it wanted us to see it. So definitely, like if you are seeing hawks, or even just these are signs and synchronicities, let those breadcrumbs lead the way. With a giraffe spirit, it's saying see the big picture. And this energy, it's just like, remember, this is a blip in a radar. And also, it is showing me like you have multi-facets to your life. You are not just one thing. You are, but when something goes wrong, like if I'm driving a car and my wheel gets loose or something, I'm not concentrating on my whole car. I'm only concentrating on the wheel that's loose, and it's suddenly demanding my entire focus. And, you know, I'm driving down the highway and I'm like, what is that noise? What is that rattling? Why is my car suddenly making this noise and this shimmy and this shake? And then all of a sudden, my entire focus and thought process is consumed by, where is this coming from? What is this? What is going to happen? Da 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 da. And I'm not paying attention to the road in front of me. I'm not paying attention to the people driving around me. I'm not paying attention to any of those things that are there to keep me safe and on track. All of my attention and focus has gone to this loose wheel. I don't even know if that happens, but you know what I mean? And so this see the bigger picture is saying like zoom out. And, you know, we might be telling ourselves it's only a loose wheel, right? But we're not understanding the effect that that's having across the board. We may miss our exit. We may get in a wreck. We may drive accidentally off the road. We may, you know, whatever we have going on inside the car, we may spill our drink. We may, you know, like, I don't know. But the thing is, it's like, it's important to zoom out and to realize that we can convince ourselves that it's just a loose wheel, but like when you zoom out, you realize how that loose wheel is affecting all these other aspects of your life. And how it's sort of, it's giving me like this vacuum energy, okay? So take it as it resonates. Then you have, dear spirit, bring a gentle touch. This to me is be very, very kind to yourself through this. This isn't a time to beat ourselves up. How did we get ourselves into this situation? This isn't a time for us to say, you know, oh, I stuck with this for way too long, and you know, I've invested too much. This isn't that time. This is a time to say, wow, you're going through a transformation, you're going through a change. You really need my focus. You need me to make sure that you're eating right, that you're getting enough sleep, that you're taking care of yourself, that you're, you know, kind of at your best physically, mentally, and emotionally to ride this wave. Period. You're leveling up. Wow. I have one more. Hold on. Wow. You know, you have abandonment and you have missed opportunity. And, you know, this is really interesting because the energy that I'm getting here, especially with this invest next to it, it's kind of like, you know, Pisces, someone could have really invested in you and kind of hit the jackpot, but it feels like due to something inside themselves, okay? Some lack, some scarcity, some, I guess it can just be a lot of things, because have you ever seen on Instagram how they'll like, if you follow like people who read cards there, or like even sometimes other things will do this, they'll put cards like flashing really fast and they'll say, take a screenshot, that's your card. That is what it's giving me, okay? And like that energy of just like flash, 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 flash. And it's like, you know, I don't know. Just, I don't know. Take it however it resonates. And this reading is actually somewhat exhausting. Like, I feel this energy is draining you way more than you realize. It's getting kind of hard for me to actually talk. And when I started this reading, I was very energized. Like, I've just been outside a lot and it's beautiful here. And now that I'm in this energy, I'm actually like pretty lethargic. But it's like, it's giving me someone else besides you was presented with a choice. I can invest in Pisces, or I can see the value of Pisces, or like I can even be fully present with Pisces and listen to Pisces and learn and grow from Pisces and, you know, develop. It's really giving me the energy of develop. But this person has abandoned themselves. And I think that this person wanted you to abandon yourself the way they had abandoned their self. And I don't think you were willing to do that, Pisces. I think you may have been willing to do that in the past, or it may even be kind of a pattern or, oh, like ancestral trauma, or you know what I mean? Something that's been passed down to you. And this is a very prolific thing because you're no longer willing to abandon yourself. And I think that is the bigger, kind of the bigger picture here. And it is kind of the like magic mirror thing, is that what would be required of you to stay in this, whatever it is, would require you to abandon yourself. And that doesn't seem easier to you anymore. You know, like maybe in the past you've been like, oh, I don't want to make waves. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be too high maintenance. I don't want to ask for what I need. I don't want to be that person, or I even there's a feeling that I have really deep down inside here right now that is, like I'm afraid to leave this that I have. Like I don't want to be alone, or I don't want to be lonely, or I don't want to, there's something deeper. It may even be an abandonment wound. And now you are in a place in your spiritual growth where you are not willing to abandon yourself. Like that is the highest price. Like, I hope this is making sense, because it's really coming through in a lot of feelings, and those are the hardest to communicate. And this is like, this person had the opportunity to do all this investing in you, or had the opportunity, or it doesn't even have to be a particular person. It can be like a situation, whatever. Like, well, let's do with the landlord. Okay, if you're paying before the first of the month, like you're an amazing tenant. If you're following all of the rules, you're an amazing tenant. This person could have written that out for a very long time, of having someone that they did not have to worry about, you know, and that they never had to exert any effort for, right? Which is like the dream. That's the goal. That's the ideal. That's the highest thing that a landlord can hope and expect for from a lesser leasey person, right? Okay, so that's all they had to do, was just kind of show up and just whatever. But instead, they couldn't get out of their own way. They were nosy. They were this, they were that. They couldn't respect your boundaries. They were always, you know, like going against it. So as a result, it's like they're going to lose someone who would have been this really amazing tenant, right? And like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here, okay? But what it's causing, with the actual effect that this is going to have, it is pretty karmic, okay? Because you are going to level up. You are going to get yourself into a much better situation where you're no longer worried about your landlord, you know, invading your space or your privacy, or, you know, whatever else you've had to deal with this landlord, right? And maybe you're going to find an even better apartment, and maybe it's even going to have a garage or some other kind of amenity that you didn't have before. This actually happened to my son. And, so I'm like, okay, yeah. You know, but you're going to be so much happier and so much happier there. But that landlord, you know, they're not probably very likely going to find a tenant that's as good as you are, right? And so there is this karmic rebalancing, right? That now the landlord has to deal with someone who's not great, and you are getting rewarded. It's just that the way that it comes through, there's a bit of an upheaval, or there's a bit of a transformation, or there's a bit of a change, okay? But you have this total connection, this exclusive energy, and this leveling up. So if this is like, let's say, an intimate relationship, it's like, this is a connection where you were trying to make it work all the time, that you're trading in for a connection that literally lights up every single one of your chakras. That literally is like, you know, it's like, it's making your life a better place to be. And this is someone, maybe you're dealing with someone who couldn't commit or couldn't, you know, do the long term or whatever. This person is like all in for it. This person realizes it, recognizes it, feels it too, and is, it's not, you don't have to convince them, you don't have to go through all this rigmarole. It's just, it's there. And it's just, it's kind of easy, and it's kind of almost like automatic. A foregone conclusion is the words that are coming to me. But you are going, this actually, the net result of what you are going through is a major upgrade, I guess, is what I'm really just trying to say. All right, let's dive into the tarot. It's funny, like, Spirit gives me these examples, and like, my son had this, he lived in this complex, and it was just awful. They never communicate. The trash thing was always out. They were like, they re-blacktopped the parking lot without like really giving notice, and like, oh my God, it was just awful, awful, awful. And finally my son was like, I cannot stay here. So when his lease was up, he moved to this other place, and he has like this golf simulator, he has a garage, he has like all this stuff. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. And it's like 2 minutes from his job. Like, it's amazing. And he was like, you know, I probably would have stayed at that old apartment if it just hadn't become so untenable. Because he's just, you know, a guy, you know. But he's like, thank God that happened. He's got like food, they do food trucks at his new apartment and a farmer's market, and like, he's just like living the high life. All right, here we go. So I don't know, but that was the exact example that it gave me. So that it always gives me examples for my own life. So, well, I don't want to say always. Always is usually a lie, but you know, it does typically. So these cards literally kind of came out dancing with each other more so than like upright or in reverse. So you have the Lovers and the Five of Wands. There's some kind of choice, but there is some kind of obstacle here. And you can see Spirit like helping this person through the situation. So you're not alone, and you know, you have let Spirit be your guide. So there is this energy of signs, synchronicities. You're going to start seeing things are going to start opening up. There's going to just be this energy around, I feel like it becoming obvious or it becoming very clear. With the Lovers card, this is always a choice. Where, I mean, it's not always a choice, but it was called the choice card before, and this feels like a choice. It also does feel like a soulmate. You know, you can't, if you have a space occupied in your life, you can't fill it also, because it's already filled. And so sometimes this energy is, you know, you are blocking something that wants to come into your life that is higher level and higher vibe by having that position already filled. You know what I mean? Like, you know, this could be a relationship where it's like, you're in a relationship that's dead end, you know, it's not going anywhere, you know, and maybe there are soulmates around you, or a particular soulmate, a very high vibe soulmate around you, and you know, you're not even looking, you're not even available, you're not, you know, whatever, because you already have that position filled. And so, you know, this is just giving me this vibe of like, somehow there's some kind of something that wants to come into your life, or some improvement, or some ease, or some something that wants to happen in your life, that wants to free you. This literally, these are like bird cages, and these birds are being freed from it. There's liberation energy here, but it's like we have to remove this blockage first. So, you know, if this is a job, it's like you got to get rid of the old job. You know, whatever it is, it's like if there's something that's occupying the space, or something that is preventing you from being able to, you know, move on, move forward, free yourself, whatever, it's like you got to deal with that first, you know? But with the Magician on the bottom of the deck, this is just simply saying you absolutely have all the tools that you need to do this. And that you can empower yourself to, you know, take care of this, no problem. You definitely have this. You can transform anything into your life into what you want it to be. You know, you may not, let's say it's an apartment or something. You can't turn that apartment into something else, but you can change your living situation from that apartment into a different apartment, or from that living situation into a different living situation. There is a tool. This isn't like with the Five of Wands. Sometimes that's all we see is the Five of Wands. All we see is the obstacle. All we see is how difficult it's going to be, or how much heavy lifting there will be, or how that energy is blocked, or, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And this is saying, don't look at that. Look at your own strength. Look at your own power. Look at what you're capable of. Our focus, what we focus on, is our choice. Some of you, I mean, there's definitely toxicity here. Like, definitely toxicity here. Something is becoming extremely clear to you. The blockage, the problem is becoming extremely clear to you. And it may be becoming so clear to you, or it may be showing up in such a way that you can no longer stand it. That you're no longer willing to accept its presence in your life. Yeah, you realize that it's blocking you for sure. Here. Also, there is even a feeling that you really need to protect yourself from it. Again, I'm getting the boundaries energy, okay? So, with the Devil, you have the Three of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles showing up. So this can be someone in a position of power. This can be someone that you work with, or someone that you at one point were trying to share a vision, a plan, and build with. This could be, you know, maybe you started business with someone. Maybe you started a life with someone. Maybe you were building something with someone. This could even potentially be a marriage with the King of Pentacles here. They tend to represent the husband. But this has become untenable. It's become a toxic situation that you feel that you need to protect yourself from. You know, there could be some kind of financial investment here because you are only getting pentacles. Or, you know, this could be in some way tied to money, or like your stability. So it could be a job. It could be, and this could have something to do with your boss, or like the, sometimes the King of Pentacles can be like the establishment, or like, you know, the CEO, the CFO, the COO, you know, like the people kind of calling the shots, the people in power. With the Devil here, it's corrupt, it's toxic, it's not good for you. All right, with the Ace of Swords, it's like you're realizing it. So you have the Ace of Swords and you have the Knight of Swords. This is like, you know, this is something that like you kind of know you're going to have to cut out of your life, or you kind of, you have some kind of clarity that this isn't working, or it isn't going to work. Like you're eventually going to have to cut it off, and you know it. Like you got the swords. But there is something here that happens that rises you into the level of, I have to take this actual action now. Like, or I have to act now. With the Knight of Swords, this is like fast moving. And it feels like something around not respecting your boundary with the Devil and the Four of Pentacles here. It's like this is, you're sort of shutting down harder and harder. You're getting smaller and smaller in the environment. And again, this comes down to abandoning yourself. It's like, I'm trying to stay in this space safely and protect myself, have this boundary up, but it is not being respected. It is toxic. With the devil, sometimes there's almost even this way that people have, or situations have, of getting beyond the boundary that we have set without us sort of almost sometimes even realizing it, or without, it's like a sneaky energy. And I am getting that, like, for some of you, it's like, you know, like with the landlord, maybe they have an excuse, like, well, there were pests, so we had to break your boundary. But, you know, it just doesn't quite feel right. You know, you're kind of like, you could have waited 24 hours. You could have given me the notice that we agreed to, you know, but there is sometimes this, with the devil here, they have implemented something or planted something that is sort of almost like a seed of doubt within you, of like, you know what I mean? Where you're kind of like, well, maybe I'm overreacting, or well, maybe it's not that bad, you know, like you're second guessing or something. And this is like a sneaky tactic. It's a sneaky something here, okay? Or that may have already been going on and you may realize that now, you know what I mean? Damn. You have the Six of Wands in reverse with the Fairy Godmother, which is the Empress upright, and then you have the Three of Swords here. But, like, look at this Three of Swords. Guys, this reading is so off the chain with all of these cards. There is just this sense of, this might be uncomfortable, but we are right here. We are guiding the way. We are leading you through this. We are delivering you from this place to this place. We just need you to kind of stand up and go through the motions. You know, we just need you to actually take the action steps. With the Six of Wands in reverse, this is a feeling of not being recognized, not being appreciated, not being seen, not being victorious, not being successful, you know, not being honored, not being, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're in a relationship, it's like you don't even feel like your partner sees you. You don't even feel like they, you know, care about you. They're not contemplating your needs. They're not, you know, whatever. If this is your employer, it's like no matter what you do, no matter how much you contribute, you do not get credit for it. You do not get, you know, rewarded for the hard work and the effort and everything that you're putting into it. If this is, you know, the landlord situation, let's say, they're not saying, oh, you know, we really appreciate you paying your rent ahead of time and you complying with all rules. And, you know, we did enter your apartment and we saw that you are completely in compliance with all the rules and thank you very much. No, it was just like, we invaded your space. Peace out. You can't complain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Okay. And so, anyway, this situation, so then you have the Fairy Godmother here, and this is, you know, you have this, you know, let spirit be your guide. You keep having this, you can do it kind of energy, like from spirit. It's like, you got this. You are much more powerful than you realize. You are stronger than you know. You can manifest anything into your life, including abundance, including, you know, a total connection that's completely exclusive. You can, you know, manifest leveling up. You can come out of this situation on top. You can rise out of this. You can liberate yourself from any like lower vibrational thing into this space that you were always meant to be in, where you have the full freedom to create the life that you want to create. All you have to do is kind of liberate yourself from this situation that is creating this suffering for you. And do you see in this Three of Wands, there is like this face here. It's like, just look for the light. Just look toward the light. It's so strongly giving me this energy of like, you're not alone. And even kind of like, this is part of the plan, or, you know, this is what has to happen so that you can, you know, stop suffering like this. You're in a space where you can't even see your own, like, greatness. It's like other people are not seeing it, other people are not appreciating it, other people it's not that they're not seeing it. Actually, what it's getting is they're not admitting it, they're not acknowledging it. You know, it's not that they don't see it though. And the thing is, it's gotten to the place where you can't see it either. You know, maybe you know this about yourself, or maybe you logically can say to yourself, oh yeah, I'm a great tenant, you know, I'm paying in advance, I'm this, I'm that, but there's this crappy, heavy feeling. And sometimes it may even take you into a space of like deep emotion, where you kind of maybe sometimes even sort of feel like you're drowning. It's like, it's making, there's a misery about it, okay? And so it's preventing you from being able to be the full expression of yourself, and it's preventing you from being able to like step into this true creator mode where you like they say, you know, when you're getting pregnant, or when you're thinking about getting pregnant or having kids, you know, eat right, don't have a lot of stress, you know, get plenty of sleep, like take really good care of yourself, maybe start taking prenatal vitamins in advance, like create this really good environment, you know, to create another human being, right? And it's like giving me the same vibe. It's like, you know, like, yeah, free yourself from the things that are not in alignment with that energy, and create this space where anything is possible for you. You know, you have the Six of Wands with the King of Cups. So you have really learned a lot from this situation. You are really learning to master your emotions, or to, you know, maybe not let other people kind of realize how, like, the difficult impact that they're really actually having, the level or degree of suffering that you're actually going through. You are sort of keeping this to yourself, or you are, how do I want to say it? Like, you're not reacting. You know, you're not like fighting back, you're not engaging, you're not resisting, you're not contributing to the toxicity or to this like negative energy, negative environment. You're just sort of being neutral. And this is kind of teaching you this skill, or it is, even if you already knew it, it's helping you to really master it in practice, not in theory, but in practice. But you have this Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck. This is like, you why stay here? Why do this anymore? It just doesn't even make sense. There's a great mystery, and there is fear and illusion around this. Like, what if, you know, what if I don't find someone else? What if I do experience loneliness? What if I, you know, can't find another job? What if I can't find another apartment? What if I don't qualify for this other apartment? What if, you know, I can't find someone to help me move? What if I can't afford it? What if it requires this huge down payment and I don't have that? What if, you know, all these what ifs, right? With the moon, it's like, you don't know what you don't know, but you got to trust your own ability to make things happen. You got to trust your own ability to land on your feet and to be okay and to come out the other side, because you will. With this Knight of Wands, this is like showing, and once you do whatever this is, on the other side, the liberation and the freedom that you feel to pursue what you truly want and to actually have the energy to show up for it is profound. It's like, it's something that will never be taken for granted. That is how it's giving me. There's a gratitude there. There's a gratitude there. I'm just going to go one more round. Wow. High Priestess. Princess of Cups. Beautiful. With the Princess of Swords. Beautiful. This space is you and your authentic self and your truth. Your truth, your authenticity, your heart, what really matters to you at the core of the core of the core of the core. This is who you really are. And with the High Priestess, it always feels a bit like a very protective energy. Like, because, you know, that secretive energy, you know, they say, like, if you have a creative idea or a seed, or, you know what I mean, you carry it around in your belly. You don't tell people about it. You protect it. And you allow it, you give it a fertile place to kind of grow and take root. You know, because, like, let's say I have this idea for starting a business, and I come to you and I tell you, you can't kind of help it. You're going to say back to me, well, what if you did this, 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 and this? Well, then it's no longer that same seed, right? And it begins to change, and it begins to go in all of these directions. And so when you have this seed, they say, you know, carry it in your belly. And you know, let it get roots, let it get strong, let it become that full-fledged plant. And then you share it with the world, you know, when it is ready, when it is whole, when it is viable on its own. And this is kind of what this is giving me. It's like this, creating this space or protecting this space with the High Priestess energy. It's almost like keeping the secret, like not telling people that I plan to make this major move in my life, but instead, it's like I'm keeping my mouth closed. I'm staying in a higher level place. I know what I'm doing. I've made up my mind. You know, I have this deep inner knowing that it's going to be okay, and that this is in true resonance with my soul. And there is something with this Page of Swords and this Page of Cups energy where, you know, this is your truth, and this is coming from a real genuine space of authenticity within you. And with this combination of cards, it's showing me like you are going to do this yourself. You are going to do this for yourself, because of yourself. And that is part of what is to be gained from this tower, from this experience, from this transformation. That you can do it, that you chose to do it, that you honored your truth, that you honored your authenticity. And this is something that at a different point in time, you would not have done. You would not have made this decision. That's what it's giving me. All right, let me get you guys some message cards. And then it becomes easy to go for what you want. Then the momentum is there, and it moves faster, like everything. I feel like getting what you want, it's like it's coming toward you as fast as you're going toward it. If you're dealing with a water sign, I won't let you go. I don't want to let you down. Be patient with me, please. You're dealing with a fire sign, twin flames. Indecisive, I am working on myself. If you are dealing with an earth sign, cold, anxious, I miss you more than you know. If you are dealing with an air sign, honest, no one else matters now, oopsie, and your words speak to me like no others can. All right, Pisces. Well, this is what I have for you. I really hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. If it does, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I really do love to hear from you guys. And gosh, until next time, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.